As we speak, there are 18,000 Indians that are in Israel. They are working in different industries. Our next story, the breaking news we're bringing you, focuses particularly on people from Karnataka, as we're learning from sources that multiple people belonging from Southern Karnataka, coastal communities in Karnataka, are saying that they are stranded there. We're going to play out for you different reactions. Remember, the Chief Minister of Karnataka tweeted out about this on Sunday itself. He said that their government is working with the Ministry of External Affairs to first account for how many citizens there are there and then see if aid can be given to them. First, we want to play out for you the reaction. This is the reaction of the spouse of a man who is stranded in Israel. Take a look.
ಸರಿ ಅವರ ಹಮಾಸ್ ಜನರು ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರನ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡುವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ರೂಮಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಸ್ರೇಲಿಯನ್ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಬಿಂಗ್ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ನಿನ್ನೆ ನೈಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಇಸ್ರೇಲಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು
All right, more context on this story. My colleague Harish Upadhyay is with us to bring us exactly that. Harish, if you could just tell our audiences, because before we shared that reaction from the spouse of someone who is in Israel, we told our audiences that there is a community of 18,000 Indians that is in Israel. Now we're learning that some are contacting the Ministry of External Affairs, particularly some residents, some citizens of Karnataka. We are learning that the Karnataka government too is saying that if anyone is stranded, if they belong to the state, contact us. Harish, first, if you could tell us, is there any understanding we have of the kind of numbers here involved in this story?
Well, in fact, a large number of people from two districts of coastal Karnataka, that's Udupi and Dakshina Kannada, are stranded in Israel. The specific figures are something that the district administration is currently collecting even as we speak. And even the state government is in a fast-forward mode to collect these details, because they do understand that it's important to reach out not just to people stranded there, the families back here in Karnataka as well. So that is happening. In the meanwhile, the families who are worried have started reaching out to the MEA, the state government and the union government, seeking a quick evacuation of their family members stranded in Israel. What is really increasing their anxiety is the fact that the reports coming in Israel suggesting that in certain parts of Israel, members of Hamas have managed to stab people. In fact, you heard Nita, one of the spouses of the person who stranded in Israel. She also said that every time they see any piece of news of this attack and the casualties in those attacks, that is something that's increasing their anxiety, and they want their loved ones to be brought back to India. But perhaps the situation over there makes it extremely difficult for any country to carry out evacuation.
Harish, thank you for that context. Let's now go to our colleague Akanksha for overall context on this story. Akanksha, we started the story by telling our audiences that there is a community of about 18,000 Indian people employed in different industries across Israel. Now, what we're telling our audiences that we are reporting that some are stranded. Do we have any understanding of the distribution of that larger Indian community across different parts of Israel? How many we are reporting are stranded? How many are safe? Do we have any understanding of these numbers?
I think the External Affairs Ministry, as of now, Toya, is still trying to work on the numbers and how to communicate, because remember, it's not just the Indians. There are several other Israelis also who have been left stranded over there. And the MEA is not coming out with any numbers as yet. But yes, as Harish was also pointing out, there are several Indians who have been stranded there at the moment. But I should also be highlighting, Toya, that the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations has come out on record to compare this entire attack by Hamas with the 9/11 in the United States. This is the big news that we are also bringing. He said that the 9/11 attacks in 2000, we all know that, in 2001, when the iconic World Trade Center was attacked back then, there were 3,000 people that were killed during that attack. And now Israel's envoy has in fact compared this entire attack with the 9/11. He's gone on to say that even though we've lost close to 250 people, this is in proportion because we already suffered 250 fatalities, and this is like having 7,500 fatalities. It is our 9/11. We are committed to change this equation. to shatter the old paradigm, because remember, Israel is a very small population. So he's saying the attack, in fact, goes on to compare it with the 9/11 terror attack. Israel's been very, very vocal about now avenging for it. We've already seen the reprisal take place. The entire international community has reacted to this attack. We've seen how the United States is also interacting at very senior levels with the government in Israel. The President of the United States has already reacted. The Vice President has reacted. The Defense Secretary of the United States, Lloyd Austin, has also been in touch, as is the National Security Advisor and even the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. So if we were to put this into context right now, there's been a global reaction that's taking place. It's one that's going beyond India, but India's concerns are very valid right now. I'm sure that in a couple of days, even Indian forces will be kicking into action. But it's important to talk about how these hostages are going to be set free, because 130 is the number that Israel is giving as far as hostages are concerned. They will be used as bargaining chip by the Hamas, because remember, Hamas and the Palestinian authorities have constantly been complaining about how Israel has been declining offers for a prisoner swap exchange, and now these hostages who have been taken away by the Hamas will be used as bargaining chips. So yeah.
Can you tell our audiences, Akanksha, because this is a question that is coming up a lot online. When the Russian invasion on Ukraine took place, and we covered that, there was the hours after where there was that clear example of thousands and thousands of people trying to evacuate. Can you tell our audiences, Akanksha, is it correct to tell our audiences that this is not comparable, that 18,000 community is very much staying within Israel? There is the hope that the economy will return to normal in a few days, or are evacuations taking place? What has the messaging been from the External Affairs Ministry, the Indian External Affairs Ministry, to Indians over there?
So yeah, the messaging right now is still a little vague, because we know that right now the evacuations are being done, but let's take for example of Nusrat Baloch. The actor was stranded there in Israel. She did manage to come back. So as long as the ones who are seeking shelter, Indians who are there, who have been provided shelter at sites till Saturday, I remember, till Saturday night, Sunday morning, these shelters were not really protected. They did not have adequate medical staff. They did not have adequate security as well, because remember, when the attack happened, the Israelis were caught unaware. It was the Shabbat that was taking place. It was business as usual in Israel. So evacuations that are currently underway will have to happen, but the ones who have been, if there are any hostages, how they will be brought back is something which seems highly grim at the moment. But evacuations are going to be taking place. In fact, India is very, very well equipped. If you remember Operation Kaveri that was conducted by Indian forces, as far as evacuations from Sudan were concerned, we did that successfully, and we not only managed to evacuate Indians, but we actually managed to also provide help to Sudan. And this is something we've also seen when the earthquake took place in Turkey, when India conducted Operation Dost. So Indian Air Force is very well equipped, and I have complete faith, so does the Ministry of External Affairs, that we'll manage to evacuate those who are stranded. But the fact of the matter remains, those who, if there are any hostages who have been taken, how does one reach out to those hostages? That is the critical question. But as of now, the evacuations are going to be taking place. That is something we know. How and when that happens is something I'm sure that the Indian government and the Indian authorities will be coordinating very closely with the Israeli authorities as well.
Akanksha, thank you for those details. We're going to leave you, our audiences, with these various visuals we have coming in over the last 48 hours. Right now, it's time for a short break. On the other side, more of the country's top stories. This is the Breaking News Show on CNN News 18.